The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, UNU Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Teflon Pan Man. I'm the Teflon Pan Man. Ain't nothing gonna stick on me.
Hi everyone, welcome to All You Can Eat. It is the podcast about deliciousness. I'm your host, Rob Rosenthal, coming to you live in the middle of July where it is hot, and I'm not complaining. I am not complaining at all. I am glad to be alive, coming at you with a series today of what I would consider to be delicious recommendations. Now, you know, anybody who's heard the podcast before knows that I often make recommendations on things to eat, on things to try, on recipes, on foods, on restaurants, on places to go, things that generally are delicious. That's the theme. And oftentimes I will devote a show to it. Other times I'll just kind of pop one in the middle of nowhere. I want to try something a little bit different today for episode 112 of All You Can Eat. We're on episode 112. And that is, I'm going to actually give you 11 recommendations. And they're all things to basically eat or drink. They're all things that bring flavor. And the reason that there are 11 of them is because I have actually already recorded them in another, shall we say, platform. There's a new game in town in the kind of audio social media world. It's called Racket. You could find it at racket.com, racket.com. As of today, they've added a search functionality, so if you went on racket.com and you looked up Rob Rosenthal, you would find me there. If you looked up recommendations in the search function, you would find probably a series of my recommendations because I do them with some regularity. And they're generally short, 3-4 minutes. And they're generally about things that I have, well, I would say almost always about things that I have had and that I really like, and that are really delicious, and that I really truly recommend. So I'm going to post now here in this podcast. I'm going to drop 11 of these recommendations on. So and they're in no particular order. I can tell you that there's a ginger ale that I fell in love with, and it may be hard for somebody to get excited about ginger ale, but it's stratospherically good, and it's been made for, 90 years. Really, really great stuff. Great in bourbon. I recommend a series of condiments that you'll hear about. One is the Korean gochujang. Another one comes from New Orleans. It's like muffaletta, a spread. Fantastic. There are recommendations on here for, sweet stuff. There's recommendations for spices. There's all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so let me bang those out right here, and then I will catch you on the other side so that we can catch up yet again. So, there's nothing about catch up, by the way. All right, fine. Here we go. Let me recommend 11 different products, tastes, deliciousness, and here we go. Hi, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Now, as a cook and cookbook author, I use a very user-friendly formula based on getting the most taste with the fewest ingredients and the least effort. When I look at recipes that have over like 5, 6, 7 ingredients, my eyes begin to glaze over. I'm not that patient. I want delicious. I want easy. I want it now, fast. And one of the most effective ways to achieve that is with spices. I can literally use one spice on one piece of chicken, for example, and make something magnificent. Now imagine that I use a spice blend, which is exactly what it sounds like, a mixture of many spices and herbs blended together into one harmonious whole. Now I'm getting a ton of flavors with just one single ingredient. And we've all had them. The blends, curry powder, for example, is a blend of spices. Chili powder is a blend of spices. Seasoned salt is a blend of herbs and spices that are mixed in together with salt. And today's recommendation is for a spice blend that is one of my absolute favorites. I learned about it from a chef named Marcus Samuelson, whose name you might recognize from the many TV appearances that he makes on the Food Network and all those other places. And I asked him the same question that I ask all professional chefs who I interview. Tell me the dish about a dish that you make that has the most taste with the fewest ingredients and the least effort. My go-to formula. And he immediately responded with berbere that he puts on fish and vegetables, and then he roasts it. Berbere is the traditional signature spice that's the backbone of Ethiopian cooking, which is where he comes from. It's a spicy blend that can contain over a dozen different ingredients. Now, the key ones are usually red chili peppers. That's where it's getting the heat from. Fenugreek, there's ginger, there's garlic, and what they call warm spices like coriander and cardamom, allspice, cumin, peppercorns, cloves, cinnamon, black pepper, allspice, turmeric. I mean, it's a ton of flavor, and it's amazing. The smell is glorious. Just check the ingredient list when you get it to see if it contains salt, because if it's not, you want to not forget to add salt to it. It's a versatile blend, berbere is, that's used to flavor, for example, stews that could be made with any combination of meat or vegetables or legumes. It's spicy, it's sweet, it's earthy, it's even a little citrusy, and that all comes together to create a complex seasoning that imparts flavor to everything from protein, like I said, chicken, meat, to vegetable, to fruit. I mean, I remember him telling me that he put it on cold slices of pineapple. And it can also act as a meat rub, so you can use it before, you fry something or you grill something. I use it on even, chickpeas that I'll then put right into the toaster oven until they get a little crispy up with that flavor. It's great. I also make all the time what I call the buffalo berbere chicken wings, where I'll take the Frank's hot sauce, smother the chicken wings in that, hit it with a hard bunch of the berbere. Right, so we got Frank's, we got the berbere, 2 ingredients on top of chicken, whether it's the chicken wings or the chicken thighs or legs, whatever you like. Throw it in the oven on a high heat until you see that it looks crispy, and it is amazing. This is killer, this stuff. There will always be a number of spices that I'm going to recommend here on Racket over the course of time because I love them, and as I said, they make everything delicious in the most easy possible way. Today, it is a berbere, which you can find online all over the place. Just FYI, it's Berbere. So it looks like berbere. And I'll put a link up on my website, which is realrobrosenthal.com. So if you can find it there if you would like to. In the meantime, go forth and make deliciousness, my friends. Hit the heart to like this. Share it with the share link. Hit me up with any thoughts or messages you may have. And follow me here on Racket because I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Hi, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. I just came across an Instagram post from Ina Garten, who you may know as the famed Barefoot Contessa from Television Food World. And her recipe was for a summer rosé sangria, and I checked out the recipe. A lot of ingredients, more than I would normally use, but that's okay. It looked good enough to make it. I would make it, I think. But the thing about sangria is that there's a whole lot of different ways that you can make sangria, and they're all really, really great because sangria is delicious. It goes down easy, and not only can you customize it your way, depending on what you have on hand, it's a really great, summer drink. It's perfect because it can be prepared in advance. You serve it over ice, and you serve it to a crowd, so it's all good. And normally when you think of sangria, you think red wine, but it certainly doesn't have to be. White sangria is good, and you know what else is good? Rosé sangria. There are 2 essential sangria ingredients. One is wine and the other is the fruit. Now, in summer, think berries and stone fruit like peaches and plums. But to be honest, you can use almost any fruit that you have on hand. You have grapes, those are good. You have cherries, orange slices, whatever you got you can use in there. Use 2 or 3 different kinds of fruit, or more if you have. Regardless of the color of wine I'm using, I always add a few other things to my sangria. Like some fruit juice, for example. Now, Ina uses in her recipe fresh squeezed lemon juice and pomegranate juice, both good. I'll use any kind of juice that I have. I happen to love tart cherry juice. I'm good with fresh orange juice. And if I didn't have those and I had some more, lemonade, I'd use that as well. So any kind of juice is good in this thing. Now, I always add some booze to it. So if you look at Ina's recipe, she has cognac in it, a little brandy in it, and Grand Marnier, which is the sweet orange liqueur. And I'm fine with that. If you have cognac, great. You have brandy, that's good in there too. Or I even have, flavored vodka. I mean, if I have like an orange vodka, that's fine. I would use that as well. You don't need a ton of it, but just enough to give it a little bit of extra boost for the adults in the room. Ina adds a little super fine sugar, which again, fine if you've got, and if not, that orange liqueur is plenty sweet, whether you use Grand Marnier or Triple Sec or Cointreau. Or you can actually do what I do. I throw in sometimes a can of Sprite or 7-Up, not only for the little bit of sweetness that it gives, but I like the effervescence as well. And if you don't like it too sweet, but you do like the idea of a little bit of bubbly, you can simply add in club soda or seltzer, or even use a sugar-free soda if you have. In which case, you've got yourself a sparkling summer sangria. The bottom line is that this is a great drink for summer. It's very adaptable, using any kind of wine that you have, any kind of fruit that you have, any kind of juice that you have, and any kind of booze that you want to add into it. The perfect summer drink, you can prepare it in advance, you can serve it over ice to a crowd, and that's why sangria is good, and I recommend it. Hey, if you like this, hover on the heart down there on the right, share it with your friends who like a good glass of sangria. Message me with any questions or comments, and follow me here on Racket, because I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Hi, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. When my wife watched me take a can opener to the cheese that we were about to serve guests at happy hour yesterday, she was repulsed. I mean, who's eating cheese from a can, right? Wrong. Cougar Gold is 30 ounces of deliciously rich white cheddar with a smooth, firm texture and a depth of creamy flavor that I find somewhat addictive. It's the creation of the dairy department of Washington State University. It dates from World War II. It's unique in the cheese world since it's aged and sold exclusively in a 30-ounce tin can. It's sharp without being acid, creamy without being sweet, a fantastic choice to enjoy with wine that will bring smiles of joy to your cheese-loving friends, and now my wife as well. Cougar Gold is a very special and unique cheddar cheese that has won several national and international awards, but I'll tell you this, it doesn't come cheap. It runs about $25 for a 30-ounce can, plus the shipping, which you will remember to refrigerate upon arrival, and it'll last in that can for a very long time, although I see no reason to wait to open it. You can get it directly from the Washington State University Creamery, where a portion of the proceeds, by the way, provide educational support for the Washington State University food science students. And that's going to be at cougarcheese.wsu.edu. Cougar cheese.wsu.edu. You can get it from my friends out at Cordy Brothers in Sacramento, California. That's going to be cordybrothers.com, in which case, by the way, order the grissini as well, crispy rustic breadsticks, cordybrothers.com, or just go to realrobrosenthal.com, because I'll put it up there on my website with a link. So here is to cougars everywhere, my friends, especially this yummy cheese. If you like this, go ahead and hit the heart down there in the lower right. If you want to share it with your friends who like cheese, do that in the upper right. Feel free to comment or direct message me, and follow me here on Racket, because I am Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend, especially deliciousness.
Hi, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. In life, there are many so-called bests. The best pitcher in baseball, the best student in class, to the best in class at the Westminster Dog Show. But let's face it, best is often entirely subjective. My best of and your best of don't necessarily overlap. And that's fine, because to be fair, maybe there could be more than one best. But what is indisputable is that some things are just much better than others. And in almost any category you can think of, there are always a few at the very top that are clearly better than the rest. So whether we're talking about wines or watches, cars or comedians, movies or music, anything really, even if we don't agree on there being one single best, let's at least agree on the idea that there's a top 1%, stuff that's just better than 99% of everything else out there, which is a long way around today's recommendation for ginger ale. Is it possible that there is a best ginger ale, or at least one so good that it should easily be considered in that 1%? And the answer is a resounding yes. How could something as seemingly simple and mundane as ginger ale ever be special? Well, that starts with a bias that I have for tradition, for dedication, and for time. By which I mean that for me, the true hallmark of greatness is the consistency of excellence over time. Here's an example. There's a restaurant in New York City called Le Bernardin, run by a brilliant chef, Eric Ripert, for over 25 years. This place has been turning out the most extraordinary fish and seafood in America. 25 years. And my experience is that if someone is consistently delivering the goods or so, for, 25, 50, 75 years, and they're still going strong, and there's still a line at the door to get in, they must be doing something right. Now wait, wasn't I talking about ginger ale? Yes. It's called Blenheim's, and they've been making it in South Carolina since 1903. Same formula, same dedication. So what, you say? Who cares about ginger ale? I do, because you splash a shot of Blenheim's into a glass of Kentucky bourbon, and the party begins in your mouth, moves lovingly into your throat, segues smoothly into your stomach, and ultimately registers in your brain chamber as deliciousness, delight, and exhilaration. Blenheim ginger ale is bottled only in 12-ounce glass bottles. They're not messing with cans and tin or plastic. It comes in red hot, and then not as hot, and then a diet. Go for the hot, my friends. Pour it over a bit of bourbon, sip it slowly, and contemplate the joy of life. No need to thank me. You deserve it. Their site is BlenheimGingerAle.com. That's BlenHeim, BlenheimGingerAle.com. And I'll put a link up on my site as well, too, RealRobRosenthal.com. Feel free to like this, share it, message me, and follow me here on Racket, because I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Hi, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Now, it's no surprise that hot sauce is very popular. So if you use it, you probably have a favorite brand or two, as do I. Now, as a cookbook author whose cooking formula is based on getting the most taste with the fewest ingredients and the least effort, things like hot sauce come in handy, obviously, because you can get essentially any bland food, let's say chicken breasts or steamed vegetables, and instantly pump up the flavor with it. I happen to be in love with Korean food. So much so that on my many trips out to Los Angeles, the first restaurant that I go to is always a Korean place where they make a dish called dak galbi. Dak galbi is a chicken stir-fry with cabbage and rice noodles and sweet potato, and the most essential condiment in Korean cooking called gochujang, the Korean hot pepper paste. Here's how you say it.
고추장, 고추장, 고추장. 고추장 is Korean hot pepper paste. 고추장, 고추장.
It's a staple in Korean cooking, a spicy chili bean paste, most commonly sold in the way that they sell miso, like it's a thick paste in a big tub. Gochujang paste is made from chili powder, glutinous rice, fermented soybeans, barley powder, and salt. So it provides a hit of sweet heat on everything from chicken to vegetables to noodles and more. People love it because it's richly flavored. It has a complexity to it. It's not just like a one-note hot sauce. Sriracha is laced with vinegar, so it's bright and provides a quick, simple heat. Gochujang, on the other hand, is fermented, so it brings deep flavors that add not just heat, but texture and umami, the savoriness. I also love it because, unlike hot sauces, gochujang is a thick paste, so it adds texture and body to anything from vinaigrettes, sauces, and soups, and marinades. It's available in many supermarkets, especially, those that have the international aisle. And, of course, you can get it in any Asian grocery store. And super easy online. In fact, if you want, just head over to RealRobRosenthal.com, where I can, you can hook up with an easy link to it. Now, if you're buying gochujang for the first time, just make sure you get the thick stuff, because some brands of gochujang are thin, kind of saucy liquids. No, look for the gochujang paste. Some brands of gochujang are not super spicy either. I say go for the hot and spicy. You can always tone it down yourself. Use it in a soup, put it in a stew, make a sauce or marinades. For example, I'm thinking this weekend of grilled pork ribs made with a gochujang barbecue sauce. How? Take the gochujang, put in some vinegar, some brown sugar, boom. Or for a totally killer marinade, think about like on a piece of flank steak or something like that. Mix together the gochujang with garlic and maybe some ginger, soy sauce, rice wine vinegar or mirin, some sesame oil, maybe Korean red pepper flakes, sugar, whatever. You can rub that on anything. It'll be amazing. Or make gochujang mayo. for like sandwiches or wraps by combining gochujang paste with some mayonnaise and add a hit of some lime juice for that to kind of brighten it up a little bit. Now, I have a recipe in my own book called Spicy Green Beans Gangnam Style, where I cook the string beans with extra crispy bacon bits and add a sauce of gochujang that I've mixed with some honey and vinegar. Top the whole thing with nuts. This is some finger-licking veg right there. Speaking of my book, by the way, it's an excellent Father's Day gift, which is coming up in a week and a half, if you're interested in getting the most taste with the fewest ingredients and the least effort. Fathers or anybody for that matter. So I recommend gochujang. And there you go. I mean, if you like this, hover on the heart down there. Share it with someone in the link up there. Direct message me with any kind of questions or comments. And follow me here on Racket, because I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. I like flavor, and I like variety. And I think my job on Racket here is to turn you on to a variety of fabulous flavors. Today's recommendation is sweet, literally. Do you like dates? I don't mean going out on one. I'm talking about the ones you eat. Those chewy, sweet, dried fruit, very popular throughout Israel, the Middle East, and North Africa, but also grown right here in our own California. Well, it turns out that dates make a killer syrup, a versatile, all-natural liquid sweetener that is a nutritious alternative to honey and maple syrup. Now, to be clear, I buy it because it's delicious, period. But it's sure worth knowing that date syrup is packed with nutrients, including magnesium, potassium, and iron, plus vitamins A, B, C, and D. It also has a lower glycemic index rating than other natural sweeteners like maple syrup, honey, and agave nectar, and it contains more fiber, which means date syrup has less of a spiking effect on blood sugar levels. The texture is smooth, somewhere in between maple syrup and honey, and the flavor is rich, complex, caramel-like. Date syrup is downright delicious. Now, it has a few different names depending on where it comes from. I use one from Israel where they call it Silan, S-I-L-A-N, or Silan. Silan is also a staple in Iraq and Iranian cuisine, typically eaten together with tahini for breakfast or a snack. Think of it as a kind of a sophisticated version of peanut butter and jelly. Dates have been eaten in the Middle East for about 6,000 years. The Quran also makes numerous references to it. The Prophet Muhammad considered dates a fruit from paradise. And throughout the Arab world, Muslims break their daily fast during the holy month of Ramadan with a date. So how do you use it? Consider drizzling it over a bowl of ice cream, or on oatmeal, or in yogurt. That's how I had it this morning. Use it on French toast, on pancakes, or go savory with it, like on a grilled cheese sandwich. Use it instead of brown sugar or honey if you make granola, or swap it out for corn syrup if you make a pecan pie. Now, you can also use it instead of an egg wash on homemade breads, or mix it with olive oil and use it to caramelize oven-roasted vegetables. And don't forget that tahini and Silan sandwich slathered on toast. Oh, wait, did you say you're making a cocktail with bourbon that needs a touch of sweetness? Hello, I'll be right over. Date syrup, people. Find it online or on my website at realrobrosenthal.com. Hover over that heart to like this, share it with the link above, get in touch with me anytime, and follow me here on Racket because I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Hi everyone, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Now, although I wouldn't consider myself a cereal guy, I can certainly appreciate the joy that's provided by a nice bowl of your favorite Frosted Mini Wheats, Lucky Charms, or Fruit Loops. For me, it's Golden Grahams. Come on, are you kidding? That's the bomb. But I can't recall the last time I had a bowl of any of them. Yet I do on occasion particularly enjoy the sweet crunch of a good granola, whether I'm having it straight up with whatever so-called milk we're using these days, or with a nice mound of yogurt and a hefty hit of fresh berries. Love that. Now, there are plenty of perfectly fine granolas on the market these days. Purely Elizabeth, Bare Naked, Kind, Nature Valley, just to name a few. And of course, they come in a wide assortment of flavor options. I once found one at Aldi that had chocolate chips in it, and it was so good that I found myself munching on it at all hours of the day. It was dark chocolate and sea salt superfoods granola from Simply Nature. Killer. I mean, literally. Now, my kid loves a brand called Great Nola, GR8 Nola, cinnamon chai version, which to me was just okay. But my recommendation is actually, well, twofold. Both brands that I discovered at Costco, because I am the Costco ho. And this is important because granola is so freaking expensive that you need a second job or a second mortgage to afford it. Am I right? At least at Costco, you get some price relief. One is a brand called Keto Nut Granola, the blueberry cinnamon flavor. excellent. Whether or not you know or care what keto is, the bottom line is that they're low carb, but high taste, great crunch, featuring almonds, pecans, coconut, and seeds, together with that blueberry and cinnamon, all around delish. My number one fave, however, is the Autumn's Gold brand of toasted coconut almond grain-free granola, in which almonds and sunflower seeds are mixed with honey and coconut flakes, then touched with vanilla, cinnamon, and salt for an altogether excellent, sweet, tasty, crunchy granola product, superb, whether you like it straight up, with milk, or as a topping on, whatever you like. Again, you can invest in your child's education or invest in these products instead. Both satisfying, but the granola is more delicious. If you want to find a link to any of my recommendations, simply go to realrobrosenthal.com. And you can like this racket by hovering on the heart down there, or share it with the link up in the right, and message me on anything that you would like. Follow me here on Racket, because I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Hi, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Now, today's recommendation is what I'm calling a racket rebound, by which I mean that it's for a product that came recommended to me via direct message here on Racket. In response to my recommendation of a particular sauce or condiment, I received an audio direct message from Stu Smith at STU, asking if I was familiar with a bitchin sauce. It's actually called bitchin. I was not, but in my weekly visit to Costco, because I am the Costco ho, I was pleasantly surprised to discover bitchin sauce sold right there. And I instantly purchased it and have tried it, and I like it a lot. So today, I recommend bitchin sauce because, most importantly, it's delicious. However, it is also creamy. So creamy, in fact, that you could easily describe it as a dip rather than a sauce per se. And yet, this saucy dip contains no cream, no mayo, no dairy at all, in fact. So how do they make it? And the answer is with almonds. Okay, so a few things to note here. Number one, almonds happen to be a great way to create creaminess. Think almond butter. Another example is gazpacho, believe it or not. Now, your first instinct is to say, wait, isn't that a Spanish tomato soup? Yes, so where do the almonds come in? They are used in some gazpacho recipes, together with the usual tomatoes, cucumber, onion, garlic, vinegar, oil, salt, right, to add flavor, a silky texture, and creaminess. Now, the bitchin product I purchased at Costco is the chipotle flavor, which means that you have to appreciate the hint of smokiness that chipotle brings, and just a touch of spicy heat at the end. And when I say slight, like a touch of it, I mean, I don't find it spicy, but if you're serving your grandma, just be aware that it has a little kick at the end. Now, that said, if you go to the bitchin site, bitchinsauce.com, you'll discover, as I did, that they offer 13 bitchin choices. I mean, wow. Everything from pesto to buffalo to salted caramel. And you'll discover that bitchin is family-owned and operated and made in Carlsbad, California. And that it's vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, GMO-free, and free of preservatives. Now, even if you don't care about any of those things, most importantly, it's freaking yummy. At least the chipotle version I've been enjoying. On salads, on sandwiches, as a dip, of course. And I've used it with shrimp cocktail instead of cocktail sauce. Excellent. I plan to try a whole bunch of other bitchin flavors too when I can get my hands on them. And when tomatoes are in season and I make my own gazpacho, guess what I'm going to hit that blender with? A good dollop or two of this stuff. You can go to their site, again, bitchinsauce.com, to see where it's sold, in addition to Costco. And you can also find an Amazon link on my website at realrobrosenthal.com if you want to use that. So my thanks to Stu for the heads up, and an invitation to all of you to DM me with delicious recommendations you might have that I may, in turn, turn into these racket rebounds. Until next time, my friends, hover over the heart to like this, share the link, and follow me on Racket, because I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Hi, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. I'm a guy who cooks a lot, all the time, actually, and I like to eat a lot. Well, like all the time. One of the many things I like to eat are tortilla chips and salsa. Compulsively, I mean. If there was a 12-step program for chips and salsa, hello, my name is Rob. Now, I know not everyone cooks that often, but as a cookbook author, there are two things that I've always encouraged people to make on their own rather than buy. One is tomato sauce. The other is vinaigrette, as in salad dressing. Why?
because they're easy to do and will always be better than what you can buy from a jar in the store. Back to the chips and salsa. In all my years of eating, I've never found a bottled salsa that I like. My feeling was that I had to make my own, but that generally requires more time and more effort and better tomatoes than are usually available. And then I discovered Mateo's Gourmet Salsa. And I've got to say, yowza, finally. Thank you, Mateo's. This stuff is great. As it says on their label, not responsible for obsession, but I am obsessed. No noise or nonsense added, only quality natural ingredients. The stuff is just tasty delicious. And although I don't see it specifically on the ingredient list, I taste a good hit of cumin in this thing, which really magnifies its Mexican taste profile. It comes in mild, medium, or hot. They sell it in Costco, Publix, Sprouts, Walmart. Just hit up their site to see where you can get it by you. It's mateossalsa.com, which is M-A-T-E-O-S, salsa.com. You want to make your own salsa or pico de gallo? Go for it. You want ready-made deliciousness, and I mean really good stuff without the effort? Mateo's got it going on. Now, to like this, go ahead and hover over that heart on your lower right-hand corner. Share it with the link in the upper right. Follow me here on Racket, and feel free to message me with comments. Until next time, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend.
Hey, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Pick 2 cities in America that you would move to for the food. I know one of mine would be New Orleans. I might open with a Sazerac cocktail and a plate of oysters, first raw and then fried. Then I'd want crawfish étouffée, blackened shrimp, gumbo, jambalaya, and those amazing little puffy balls of sweet fried goodness. Ah, the beignets. Wait, how about those sandwiches they got down there? I'm going to need a po' boy. Maybe roast beef or fried shrimp or some oysters or whatever you choose. Po' boys are stuffed and slathered with sauce or mayonnaise. They're piled with lettuce, tomato, and pickles, then served between these 2 long pieces of beautiful French bread. Damn, I'm getting peckish just thinking about it. And what about that other famous Italian sandwich made of cured meats, cheese, and olive salad on round Sicilian sesame bread? Yes, it's the muffalata. The traditional style muffalata sandwich invented in New Orleans consists of a muffalata loaf, that's the bread actually, split horizontally and covered with layers of marinated olive salad, salami, ham, Swiss cheese, provolone, and mortadella. Now, to me, what really makes the sandwich stand out is that olive dressing. The classic olive salad consists of olives that are diced with celery and cauliflower and the carrot that's found in a jar of what they call giardiniera. Seasoned with oregano and garlic, it's covered in olive oil and allowed to combine for at least 24 hours. I recommend Solistato Muffalata olive salad. It's a brand I discovered in Costco. Vibrant, lively, chopped pickled vegetable medley that's made with carrots, cauliflower, olives, peppers, celery, pepperoncini, capers, and garlic. Can you imagine that? Use it on almost any sandwich, naturally. But I also add it to my tuna salad. I toss it in any salad, in fact, that I make. I use it to plump up some plain pasta. I could put it on top of hummus. Hey, drop a spoonful in your next omelet if you want. I love the stuff. I love it because it's a single ingredient, but it's made of many ingredients, and it transforms whatever you use it on. Solistato, muffalata, olive salad, a little taste of New Orleans. Now, I buy mine in Costco, because I am the Costco ho, and they're a lot. Or, if not, you can easily purchase it online, just where it'll cost you considerably more. That's today's deliciousness, my friends. Hover over that heart on your screen there in the lower right if you want to like. Share it to your other channels using the share link in the upper right hand there, and follow me here on Racket for more deliciousness, because I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. Hi, I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend. If you enjoy Chinese food, and who doesn't, and you want to bring a blast of flavor to your food, you should know about Spicy Chili Crisp. Today's recommendation is an exciting taste from China. I find the flavor addictive. Essentially, it's chilies fried in oil. But what I appreciate most is that it's the only ingredient you need to add to pretty much anything to make it completely delicious. Now, I'll remind you that as a cookbook author, I promote a very user-friendly formula that I call getting the most taste with the fewest ingredients and the least effort. And one of the easiest ways to accomplish that is with condiments. So go ahead and Google spicy chili crisp, and a whole slew of products will show up. The one you want is spicy chili crisp from Lao Gan Ma, Laogan Ma. You'll see a Chinese guy in a chef's apron on the label. Generally, it'll run, if you buy it online, maybe $10 per bottle, but frankly, I've seen it for $3 or $4 a bottle in Asian, specialty shops. As I said, from China, aromatic, a little bit spicy, and it'll bring deliciousness to rice, to stir fries, noodles, soup, marinades, vegetables, dumplings, anything essentially. Here's the full disclosure. Don't be afraid of the MSG or the other preservatives that you'll see there. This stuff was voted best hot sauce by the LA Times. And don't fear the heat either. I don't find it as spicy as most hot sauces. You're using this one for the flavor, not for the heat. Spicy chili crisp from Lao Gan Ma, China. It is deliciousness. I'm Rob Rosenthal, and I recommend.
Well, you get the idea. I'm Rob Rosenthal, obviously, and I recommend. And, that's 11 different recommendations, every single one of which I really genuinely like. I don't recommend anything unless I believe in it. I get paid for none of that. I do, however, have a brand new website that you can check out. It's realrobrosenthal.com. And on that website, every one of those recommendations is included, and in each case, there is a link to the actual product, making it easy. Now, here I will tell you, in the interest of full disclosure, that I seem to have some relationship with Amazon, I guess, like an affiliate type of situation, where if you buy it, and I really don't think the price changes for the consumer, but anyway, I get some kind of infinitesimal fee or commission or whatever they call it there. If you click on the link and buy off my recommendation on realrobrosenthal.com. Anyway, or don't, just find the product and get it on your own. I'm not getting rich off that, I can tell you, that's for sure. Nor am I getting rich off the book that I have written, Short Order Dad: One Guy's Guide to Making Food Fun and Hassle-Free. A really excellent book. Don't take it from me. Read the 170 reviews, most of which are good. And there's that. Find me not only on Racket.com, but of course, if you do a search for any of these kind of longer podcasts like this one, you can go to iHeartRadio and look for Rob Rosenthal, or All You Can Eat. I think you can go over and certainly you can go to Spotify and probably search for Rob Rosenthal or All You Can Eat, because we're on that as well. And I'll be back next week with some cool guests. I've had some great guests within the last year. I mean, Andrew Zimmern, Carla Hall, Danny Meyer, wonderful kind of really talented, successful people. And I'm hooking up this week with a guy named Ming Tsai. So if you ever watch the food television, I mean, this guy's been doing great work in television for the last, 10, 20 years. He's really great. So I'll have Ming on as a guest probably as early as next week. And there you have it, my friends. Episode 112 of All You Can Eat. Here we go. And until next time, remember this, folks. Life is short, so never waste a meal.
I'm the Teflon Pan Man. I'm the Teflon Pan Man. Ain't nothing gonna stick on